Hey y'all, I wanted to share something I just put together. It took me a little bit, I didn't just do it. But I'm an amp guy, so I have my Falcon. That is a 57 Deluxe. So I kind of, a while back, I got into eBay buying these pine cabs, and then I'm using potato sacks as speaker cloth because they're cool. Finding a cool one is tricky. And so I'm just showing you that I have real tube amps, and I like my tube amps. So that's a Super O, and that's my 68. And then this is another amp we'll talk about in a little bit that I built. And then that actually has a 5-watt amp in it, but it looks like a, I don't know, a table, I guess. So here's the amp that I'm here to talk about. This is a pine cab. This has got my potato sack front. So I was using it just as a speaker, and then I started experimenting with putting things into this cab, and then I found out about Quilter. Quilter, his goal is to design solid state amps that sound like tubes that you can use at a gig, at your house. And so while I have played in bands and I have gigged, I primarily play here at the house. And so this 0 to 50, and then on some of these settings it's 100, I think, was really appealing to me, that I could tone it down and play and get the same sound that I would get at 10 or 25 watts. So I started out with the Quilter, and so then I thought, well, you know, man, I figured out a way. I used the original case and I mounted this to the top of this cab, and I thought that's pretty cool. It has a kick out so that the knobs aren't flat the way they usually are, so I can actually access everything, and it works. And I was at an event, and I had, I guess I had my Falcon over there, and then I had this pedal board. And so that's the other thing I want to show. I have full-size pedals that I use, and I play around with everything. But I was like, you know, it'd be awesome. He said, Jim, why don't you have it all in one box? Why are you carrying all this stuff around? And I was like, huh, okay, well, that sounds like a challenge. So I put the Quilter in here, and then I realized that I'd pulled this off, but I had the exact piece I needed. So I put small brass hinges on this piece right here. This is about to get good. And so that piece hinges on. And then I bought this latch, you know, at Home Depot. And then I was like, okay, what's the good thing about the Quilter? It has an effects loop. Awesome. Almost no amp in my room has an effects loop. So I've been using the Zoom. Where's the other pedal? I've been using the this pedal. I've been using the multi-stomp, and this is the MS100BT. It is awesome. I have taken this and created pedals, pedal variations inside that box, and then I'll take my barber and my delays and my musket, and then recreate it within this single box. And so that's cool, but there's no aux in. So why do I need an aux in? I need an aux in because I'm always playing backing tracks. I'm here at the house. The most enjoyable thing that I've found is to play backing tracks to blues stuff. That's what I play through this awesome SG. And so then I thought, okay, I want to have the Zoom sounds for modulations and delays, but I need an aux in. Well, they came out with the G10N, which is like $49, and it's a pretty small footprint. I think the footprint could be smaller if they wanted it to. I think it's pretty big. But anyway, so what I did here is I've got the carbon delay, and then a hall with the carbon delay, and then more delay, and an auto wah, and then I also have some other things in here, chorus, rotovibe. So basically all my modulations are sitting here in this one box, and they're all going into the effects loop. But the other cool part is right here, I have an input for I use my iPhone when I play backing tracks, so I can plug straight in. Not the best situation, you know, your iPhone music going through the same speaker as your guitar, but I found that when you're running a 12-inch speaker, it doesn't sound that bad. So that's a 12-inch jet in there. So then I was like, okay, if I'm doing that, why don't I do it right? Why don't I have some good dirt pedals going into the front end of the amp? And so I had my Barber on here, and then I have a Musket Fuzz that I use a lot, but I was running out of space for what I wanted to do, so I started researching the Moore pedals, and I was like, okay, these are actually real. I thought they were digital, but the dirt is analog based. They're tiny. I don't know how long they're gonna last. I don't care, but you know, these pedals are like 50 and 60 bucks a piece. I can live with that. And so I figured out I could get 3 good pedals on here. I have the Rumble, which is like a Dumble. The Hustle Drive, I believe that's an OCD. The Hustle Drive's really good. Both of these are awesome. And then I always run a Fuzz, and so I got this yesterday. I haven't played it loudly yet, but I do like the lead tones coming out of here, which is all I use a Fuzz for. And then finally, the big pedal is the Wampler Spring. I love reverb, and I hate digital artifacts. And so I played a lot of pedals, and this was as close to a real tank as I could find. You know, there are tank aficionados out there that are like, you got to get a tank. Well, the whole point of this is not to carry around extra boxes. And then one thing I added, I don't know if I'm going to keep it, is an EQ, because I do find the Quilter is a little bit dark, and so the EQ allows me to make it a little juicier, a little, I don't know, a little more high-end, especially on my SG here with those P90s. So anyway, what else is cool? The other thing I thought was, I have a separate pedal board over there, but when somebody, let's say, wants to play this, or let's say that I don't want to play this and I want to go tube, I put all the dirt pedals, they're Velcroed onto a board. So if I want to move all these pedals and go play on, I could just lay this on top of my other amp over here. I could just move the whole board at one time. Now the only negative with these guys is that they can't run 9 volts. I almost never do that anyway, so I have a separate cable. If I wanted to move these, I would leave all this in here. So I tried to get everything nice and tied up and clean inside. Oh, one more thing I didn't mention. Let me turn the lights out. 1 second. So I know that when I play, it's often dark, and so I got on Amazon and I got these. They're on stalks. It's a pair of these lights. They come together. They're not expensive. They also are battery powered. So if I were to actually go to a gig and bring this out, I would have internal lighting for the amp so that I could actually tweak my pedals if I needed to. And that thing can go anywhere I want. So I have a little hook here to retain, oh, I didn't mention that. My guitar plugs straight into the back panel here so that I'm not fidgeting around on the board. And then this goes into, actually right now it's going into the EQ, and then the EQ starts going down the line. It sounded better that way. So that is different and unique, and I think that's everything. And it sounds pretty damn awesome. But I just wanted to, and so when you're done with the lights, turn them off and just tuck them back in. So you could, if you had everything set right, you could just plug your guitar in here, crank up the amp, and get going. And that would be that. And then, of course, to top it off, I made myself a hand-tooled handle here. I'm going to make a two-piece that's sewed together for more strength. But that's it. That's my Quilter Pine Cab. Turn my lights back on. Quilter Pine Cab, 12-inch. Kind of like a multi-effect type of deal, you know, except it's real. It's not digital. So, well, my delays are digital, but the delays on here are great. But all the dirt is non-digital, which is the important part. And these pedals are awesome. Best spring I could find. Built-in EQ that just lives in the box. And then you have the awesome Quilter 101. Not expensive. $49. $49, $60, $60. That was not cheap. So there you go. That's my invention for an all-in-one box that I can play in the office, outside, or at gigs. Thanks for watching.